Okay, we can take 5. Start the next session. Okay, I hope everybody is back. So we had stopped here last time. Need for public awareness. As I have been repeatedly saying that awareness ka time chala gaya. It is time for creating concern. But nevertheless, your syllabus doesn't say that we should talk about the concern. It says only about the awareness. So we know that Earth's resources are dwindling and our environment is being increasingly degraded by the human activities. Yes, all human activity. As I told that day as an example, even when you're sleeping, you are consuming something, you are utilizing something, you are making a use of the resources. And these activities have some uh, effects on the degrading of the environment. And we need to do something about it. Who will do? We need to do bolega to who will do? Who is going to do something about it? Everybody is thinking that somebody else will do. Most of the people think that they have elected the government, so the government should do. There is no way government can do all the jobs. They cannot clean up unless we cooperate with them, unless we change ourselves. We often feel that managing pollution and environmental degradation is something that the job is to be done by the government. But are we doing something about it? Arvind Kejriwal, after he came into power in Delhi, he started, I think it was there earlier also, and it was enforced that alternate day use of vehicle and all that. I think it has gone for a toss. Is it still working? Anybody from Delhi who can enlighten us? This alternate day using of your private vehicles? I don't think anybody is from Delhi. So things are planned, they are implemented. Now, how it is implemented, it depends on how is the resistance from the people. Like for example, this has got nothing to do with environment, but for safety of the human beings. In Pune, people protested against wearing helmet on two-wheelers. We have some people from Pune. Anybody? I think Shetty was there.
Yes, sir.
Who's that?
Sir Bharat.
Varad, you must be aware that basically you are not allowed to wear helmet in Pune. It's not a rule, but still some people wear. When I was in Mumbai, I used to wear helmet uh, only when I'm going for a long journey on the main road. Then when I came to Pune, I was using it, but then nobody else is using. So I also got into the uh, same routine, and I'm also not wearing. But now, what has happened is there are cameras at the signals, traffic signals, and these cameras take your photo along with obviously your number plate, and you get a message e-challan for paying fine for not wearing helmet. So now I can see a lot of people have started wearing helmet. Same way, there will be resistance from people. Okay, like this alternate day using of the vehicles, there was resistance, but then finally, people, the educated people, they started supporting it, and they had no choice because chalan katta tha, so they became part of it. Uh, I don't know how much inconvenience was caused to the people, but we have to do something from our side. Maybe you can use the vehicle alternate days with your neighbors or somebody who is going on the same route, or take the public transport. Okay. So in Pune, public transport is pathetic. So the question of taking public transport is again a difficult decision. Now, on individual level or on a group level, what efforts can be done? There has to be some efforts to be done on the individual level. So, as an individual, what you can do? Okay, conserving water. If there are leakages in your taps at home, you take care of it in your society, take care of it. So you are doing your bit. And if every citizen thinks in this manner and starts acting accordingly, then I think we can make a lot of difference. I gave you the example of that Juhu beach cleaning in Mumbai that was started with an individual effort. Public awareness, mass public awareness by newspaper, radio, television, I mean, media. Why not Facebook, Instagram? These are going to influence public opinion on conserving our environment. I'm not saying everybody will get influenced. In India, people get more influenced by the spiritual gurus and babas and maulanas and all these people, but people don't get influenced by in good things from other sources. So maybe it doesn't matter how it works. We can educate these people, the gurus, the babas, whom people are following blindly, and tell them to use this motto of conserving the environment in their speeches. So the idea is to get the job done. Politicians. A lot of people follow politicians religiously with a blind eye. And yes, their support can also be taken. And politicians will be happy because if there is a strong public support movement, if people get together, then they will become part of it to make for their own vested interest. Now, if you are interested in environmental science or joining groups which are involved with the conservation of the energy, conservation of the environment, then there are some listed down NGOs and firms which are WWF1 is and BNHS. What are these? These have literatures, magazines like Down to Earth. WWF 1 is and BNHS Hornbill. So you can, if you are interested, you can read these magazines. You will get more awareness, more knowledge about environmental protection. Practice what you are going to promote. Good civic sense, no spitting, no tobacco chewing, not throwing garbage on the road. We have a lot of scope to improve in these fields. Take part in events organized on World Environment Day, Wildlife Week, visit a national park or sanctuary, or spend time in whatever nature you have near your home. Institutions in environment, Bombay Natural History Society, that is the BNHS. It is an NGO. It was founded in 1883. The activities involved were wildlife policy building, research, popular publications, and people's action have been unique features of this multifaceted society. This NGO works towards conservation of wildlife species and ecosystem. Publications like Hornbill, Journals on Natural History, Salim Ali Handbook on Birds, J.C. Daniels' book on Indian reptiles, S.H. Pratter's book of Indian mammals, and P.B. Bole's book on Indian trees. These are related to our country. These NGOs function in our country with respect to the uh, environment, assisting the government in framing of wildlife related laws, Save the Silent Valley campaign. Then WWF1, that is Worldwide Fund for Nature. You must have seen the logo of this. There are many stickers put over there with a panda in the picture. So, initiated in 1969 in Mumbai and then moved to New Delhi with several branches and offices all over India. Wildlife education and awareness are the activities they take into consideration. Organize nature clubs of Indian program for children, works as a think tank and lobby force for environmental development issues. Center for Science and Environment, again New Delhi, organizing campaigns, holding workshop, conferences, producing environment related publications are some of its activities. If it published State of India's Environment, the first of its kind to be produced as a citizen report on the environment. Published a popular magazine like Down to Earth and a Science and Environment Fortnightly also. It is also involved in publication of material in the form of books, posters, video films, and also conduct workshops and seminars on biodiversity related issues. CPR Environmental Education Center, Madras, formerly known as Madras, now it is Chennai. CPR EEC was again set up in 1988. These are all old firms, old NGOs. They conduct variety of programs to spread environmental awareness and create an interest in conservation among the general public. It focuses attention on NGOs, teachers, women, youth, and children to generally promote conservation of nature and natural resources. Its program includes components and wildlife and biodiversity issues. It also produces a large number of publications. Center for Environment Education, CEE Ahmedabad. It was initiated in 1989. It has a wide range of program on the environment and produces a variety of educational material. CEE's training in environment education program has trained many environment educators. Bharati Vidyapit Institute of Environment Education and Research, BVIEER, Pune. This institute is a part of Bharati Vidyapit Deemed University and has a PhD, Master's, and Bachelor's program in Environmental Science. For your information, I was looking for a bachelor's program for environmental science. It's no longer available. I don't think even master's is available. I think only PhD is available, which I saw in their brochure. Also offers an innovative diploma in environment education for in-service teachers. It implements a large outreach program that has covered over 135 schools in which it trains teachers and conducts fortnightly environment education program. Biodiversity conservation is a major focus of its research initiative. Bharati Vidyapit is also involved in developing low-cost interpretation centers for natural and architectural sites that are highly local, specific, as well as large amount of innovative environment education material for a variety of target groups. Its unique feature is that it conducts environment education from primary school level to the postgraduate level. So if you join Bharati Vidyapit group, you will have EVS in your curriculum from right from your school time. It has produced several EEA developments, a teacher's handbook linked to school curriculum, a textbook for UGC for its undergraduate course on environment. Its director has developed a CD-ROM on India's biodiversity published by MEPIN Publishers Ahmedabad. Uttarakhand Seva Nidhi, UKSN Almora, a nodal agency and supports NGOs in needs of funds for their environmental related activities. Major program is organizing and training school teachers to use its local specific environment education workbook. You must have noticed all these what I'm talking about. There the school teachers are involved in most of them because if you want to inculcate certain thing into your next generation, then it has to be at the school level and it has to be compulsory. As of now, it is not yet compulsory. I don't know what we are waiting for. Once you involve this, my son is doing some EVS, but it is all taken very lightly. There are no classes, practicals are hardly taken. It's for namesake. It's a compulsory subject for them in 10 plus 2. The main targets are linked with sustainable resource use at the village level through training school children. Its environment education program covers about 500 schools. Kalpa Vriksha Pune, again an NGO, works on variety of fronts: education and awareness, investigation and research, direct action and lobbying, and litigation with regards to environment and development issues. Its activities include talks and audiovisual in schools and colleges, nature walks and outstation campus, organizing students' participation in ongoing uh, campaigns, including street demonstration. We have a nature cup in TMI, if I'm not wrong. Were you introduced to something
Yes,
like
sir.
that?
So we were told about it during the induction.
Okay. Out of the 40, anybody is part of this club? Uh-huh. That shows how well interested and involved we are with respect to environment. वो जब तक गले तक नहीं आता है, nobody is going to look into it. And I think it has come, but people are not realizing because it has not reached their home. It's like corona spreading. As long as other people were dying in other countries, and then they started dying in our country. But as long as they didn't die in our home, nobody was serious about it. And that's the reason it spreaded so rampantly everywhere. Not even the government was serious about it. They wanted to be serious. Media was very serious about it. Okay. In fact, they were over serious about it. Anyways, people who lost their beloved near and dear ones, they know what can be the outcome of such neglect. Students participating in ongoing campaigns, including street demonstration, pushing for consumer awareness regarding organic foods, press statements, handling green alerts, and meeting with the city's administrators are one of some of the activities they take into account. It is involved with the preparation of site-specific environmental manuals for school teachers. Kalpavrisha was responsible for developing India's National Biodiversity Strategy and Action Plan in 2003. Salim Ali Center for Ornithology and Natural History, SECON. Coimbatore, full form is Salim Ali Center for Ornithology and Natural History. Short form is SECON, SACON. Dr. Salim Ali, I don't know, many of you might not be aware of it. He was expert in bird watching. He has written books on Indian birds, Asian birds. He was also a scientist involved in environmental policies of the government of India. So his wishes were to support a group of committee conservation scientists on permanent basis, and that dream became a reality only after his demise. It is an independent organization and based in Coimbatore since 1990. It has instituted a variety of field programs that have added to the country's information on our threatened biodiversity. Wildlife Institute of India, Dehradun, WII. I think there are some people from Dehradun, though the number has been decreasing every year. This institution was established in 1982 as a major training establishment for forest officials and research in the wildlife management. Most significant publication has been Planning a Wildlife Protected Area Network for India, Rogers and Panwar, 1988. These were the authors. The organization has over the years added an enormous amount of information on India's biological wealth. It has trained a large number of forest department officials and staff as wildlife managers. Its MSc program has trained excellent wildlife scientists. It also has an environment impact assessment cell. It trains personnel in eco development, wildlife biology, habitat management, and nature interpretations. Botanical Survey of India, BSI, it was established in 1890 at a Royal Botanic Garden, Kolkata. Uh, However, it was closed for several years after 1939 and was reopened in 1954. 1939 means this was during the British era, carries out surveys of plants, resources in different regions. Zoological Survey of India, ZSI, it was established in 1916. Its mandate was to do a systematic survey of fauna in India. It has over the years collected type specimens on the basis of which our animal life has been studied over the years. Its origins were collections based at the Indian Museum at Calcutta, which was established in 1875. Older collections of Asiatic Society of Bengal, which were made between 1814 and 1875, as well as those of the Indian Museum made between 1875 and 1916, were then transferred to the Zoological Survey of India. Today, it has over 1 million species. These makes it one of the largest collections in Asia. It has done an enormous amount of work on taxonomy and ecology. People in environment, these are individuals who contributed to the protection of the environment. The Salim Ali he has written several great books, including the famous Book of Indian Birds. His autobiography itself, Fall of Sparrow, should be read by every nature enthusiast. So, if you are going to look for answers for the assignment which I have given you, that why sparrows are not seen in the urban area, he was our country's leading conservation scientist and influenced environmental policies in our country for over 50 years. Sorry. Okay. Indira Gandhi. She was a former prime minister. She has played a highly significant role in the preservation of India's wildlife. It was during her period as a prime minister that the network of protected areas PAS grew from 65 in number to 298. The Wildlife Protection Act was formulated during the period when she was prime minister, and the Indian Board for Wildlife was extremely active as she personally chaired all its meetings. If she would have not involved, then it would have gone to dust. India gained a name for itself by being a major player in CITES and other international environmental treaties and accords during her tenure. S.P. Godrej, one of India's greatest supporters of the wildlife conservation and nature awareness program, he was awarded the Padma Bhushan in 1999 and several other awards between 1975 and 1999. M.S. Swaminathan, one of the India's foremost agricultural scientists, and has also been concerned with various aspects of biodiversity conservation, both of cultivars and wild biodiversity. Founder of the MS Swaminathan Research Foundation in Chennai, which does work on the conservation of biological diversity. Madhav Gadgil, a well-known ecologist in India. His interests range from broad ecological issues such as developing community biodiversity registers and conserving sacred groves to studies on the behavior of mammals, birds, and insects. Anil Agarwal, he was a journalist who wrote the first report on the state of India's environment. It was in 1982, way back. He founded the Center for Science and Environment, which is an active NGO that supports various environmental issues. MC Mehta, India's most famous environmental lawyer. Since 1984, he has filed several PILs, that is, public interest litigations, for supporting the cause of environmental conservation, protecting the Taj Mahal, cleaning up the Ganges River, banning intensive shrimp farming on the coast, initiating government to implement environmental education in schools and college. So this guy is the one responsible for initiating the environmental education in the curriculum and a variety of other conservation issues. Medha Patkar, she is known as one of India's champions who has supported the cause of downtrodden tribal people whose environment is being affected by the dams on the Narmada River. Sundarlal Bahuguna, his Chipko movement, yes, I think you guys mentioned this Chipko movement, has become an internationally well-known example of a highly successful conservation action program through the efforts of local people for guarding their forest resources. His fight to prevent the construction of the Tehri Dam in a fragile earthquake-prone setting is a battle that continues to wage. The Garhwal Hills will always remember his dedication to cause for which he walked over 20,000 kilometers. Now, these were the Indian people who influenced the environmental protection campaign through their individual efforts. Now, some of the international known environmental thinkers who have made landmarks and whose names are frequently mentioned are Charles Darwin, author of Origin of Species, which brought to light the close relationship between habitats and species. Also brought about a new thinking of man's relationship and other species that was based on evolution. Alfred Wallace came to the same conclusion during his work. Another guy is Henry, she's a female, I think, Henry Thoreau. In 1860, he's a male, he wrote that the did not care for nature and would sell it off for a small sum of money, which is true even today. Ralph Emerson, he spoke, he spoke of the dangers of commerce to our environment way back in 1940s. John Muir, he is remembered as having saved the great ancient sequoia trees in California's Canal Forest. In the 1890s, he formed the Sierra Club, which is a major conservation NGO in the USA. Aldo Leopold, he was a forest official in the United States in the 1920s. He designed the early policies on wilderness conservation and wildlife management. Rachel Carson. In the 1960s, Rachel Carson published several articles that caused immediate worldwide concern on the effect of the pesticide on nature and mankind. Even pesticides are used today also. I don't know how many of you eat leafy vegetables. Whenever we eat this palak or methi में इतना नहीं होता है, but palak, uh, shepu ki bhaji, chauli ki bhaji, all these smell of pesticides even after cleaning it with potassium permanganate. She wrote even grapes. Sometimes when you have grapes, you get throat irritation and you get throat infection. That's because of the content of pesticides in it. If you don't wash it properly, then it may affect your throat instantly. Rachel Carson, she wrote a well-known book called Silent Spring, which eventually led to a change in government policy and public awareness. E.O. Wilson, an entomologist who envisioned the biological diversity was a key to human survival on Earth. He wrote Diversity of Life in 1993, which was awarded a prize for the best book published on environmental issues. His writings brought home to the world the risk to mankind due to man-made disturbances in natural ecosystems that are leading to the rapid extinction of species at a global level. So we are responsible of a lot of crime. This crime is not listed in the criminal law, so we get away with it. Otherwise, in some countries, some of these are listed as crime, and you can be penalized or put behind bars for not following it. So that's what we had to say with respect to our first module, that is the multidisciplinary nature of environmental studies. Do you have any questions with respect to this? If you don't have questions, then I would like to uh, show you the questions which have been checked out for you. It is there on the Moodle platform. The questions are on your screen now. Define environmental studies. This will come as a short question. These are the most likely questions which have been coming repeatedly in the past question papers also. So definition will be a short answer question. Explain the scope and multidisciplinary nature of environmental studies. A long answer question. You can cover the whole syllabus of this first module in it. Bring about the need for public awareness, public participation to conserve the environment. Okay. This, Swastik, you have something to say? Mr. Swastik?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. You have something to say?
No, sir. Sorry, sir, for interrupting.
Okay, then keep your mic on mute unless you want to say something or ask
Okay.
something. Okay, thank you. So I want you guys to write the answers to all these three questions and submit, and this is going to be your internal mark. So take it lightly. ये वर्ल्ड मैप कौन दिखा रहा है? स्वस्तिक. Okay. Do you know what is the meaning of swastik? Swastik, do you know the meaning of swastik?
Yes, sir.
Do you know what is the meaning of swastik?
Yes, sir. It
Yes.
meaning, yeah.
Okay. You should be curious to know about this, since your name is symbol of that. So, pata karo, additional assignment for you. Okay. I can see only 35 people have been logged in. What about the rest of them? Are they missing? with our next topic, natural resources. Can you give me examples of natural resources? Any of you? No idea?
Petroleum,
Please.
coal and petroleum.
And coal, petroleum. Petrol is a byproduct of crude oil, so crude oil can be considered as natural resource. Petrol, diesel, naphtha, all these are byproduct, kerosene. Any more? Is water a resource? I'm just trying to clarify some doubts which you may have. Is water a resource? Air is it a resource? I think the first day what I asked you, how many of you think you are intelligent, and nobody was ready to raise their hand, was rightly done. You can't think of things which are around you, and you can't even name few natural resources. I don't think you are fit to go out at sea at all. You need to go to school again, study there properly, from the point of view that you are going to go out at sea to take a responsible job. If a class does not cannot name natural resources, that is a shame on the whole class. So nobody else knows what are natural resources. Okay, so you have a Google tool. Go, at least that much you know, that is what you can do in your life. Give you 60 seconds to do that. The source available in the nature to
Coal,
बोला ना वो coal and
water, air. Air.
air, water is natural resource. I was asking you the same question. Nobody was answering. Okay, so Google has given you confidence to say that yes, air, soil, forest, all these are natural resources. Okay, what is a resource? First of all, let's start with that. Resources do not refer to a thing or substance. Okay, but a function which a thing or substance. Water we hold as resource, है ना? Water का chemical composition क्या है? H2O. It is a thing or substance, yes. But that cannot be called a resource. The resource is that this substance may perform or do an operation in which it may take part. Water, is it used for cleaning, bathing, community living, cleaning, bathing, drink, a function. There is an operation involved in clean operation. So this is an operation in which it may take part, namely functioning a given end. When you take bath, you clean the end result. When you clean the utensils, they become for use again. When you drink water, your thirst is quenched. So those are the end results, such as satisfying a want. So the resources are not its or thing itself, but function or operation in which they are involved to give the end results which satisfy you. Is it understood? Resources therefore means to attain given ends. That means the end results in products. The aspect of satisfaction is so important that we consider a thing or substance a resource so long as it meets our need. So we call water as substance, as resource, but it is actually the function of the water which is resourceful. Human resource. Human resource में a rank is given chief officer on board ship. Okay. What is the function of the chief officer? He's got list of duties under his umbrella. He has to okay. It's not the thing or the substance, it is the function or operation in which it is involved to satisfy. Life on this planet depends upon a large number of things and services provided by the nature. What are the services provided by the nature? Anybody can tell me? All the seasons, monsoon, summer, winter, all these are services which are provided by the nature, which are known as natural resources. Thus, water, air, soil, minerals, coal. Thus, resources can be abiotic or biotic. Do you think chicken, mutton, fish, these are resources? Yes or no? Google करो. कुछ नहीं आता है तो Google. I think if you play कौन बनेगा करोड़पति, you will never win anything. Good options are there. Do you think fish, chicken, meat are natural resources?
Yes.
They are food resources, naturally available. हमने चिकन नहीं बनाया है या हमने अंडा नहीं बनाया. It was available naturally. Just like water, soil, mineral, air is available naturally. We have not put any efforts to making them. Isn't it? So the resource can be abiotic or biotic. Any material which is required or used to sustain life or livelihood is termed as a resource. In other words, resources are all these requirements of the organism, population, and communities which tend to help in accumulation of energy by increased ever growing for it. I remember when I was young, my neighbors may see, I remember 6 neighbors. Out of 6, 4 were vegetarians. Okay. And I don't know, but most of them had children of the same age group as me or my brother. Out of those 4 vegetarians, the next generation में खाली एक बचा है. So we can conclude from this that more and more people have started using the natural resources or food resources of animal type. They have become non-vegetarian. अभी एक नया ट्रेंड आया है to become vegan. Anybody who's following vegan diet? Some people I know, they claim to be following, but I don't think they are actually following. Very
No, sir.
difficult to follow vegan diet in India. Okay. Resources are all those requirements of organisms, populations, and community. When more and more people start requiring it, it comes in demand. For what? For accumulation of energy. When the demand increases, then the availability has to be increased. Otherwise, there will be shortage. And when there is shortage, adulteration will follow. Some examples of resources are air for breathing, water for drinking, land for living and growing food also, forest for timber and paper, ores, mining, ores for aluminum, copper, iron, and other metals, and coal, oil, and natural gas for producing energy. Now, these are further divided, the resources are further divided as natural resources. A natural resource is defined as a form of energy and or matter which is essential for the functioning of the organism, population, and the ecosystem. In the case of humans, a natural resource, in his words, refers to any form of energy or matter essential for the fulfillment of physiological, socio-economics, and cultural needs, both at the individual level and that of the community. Life on our planet depends on a large number of things and services provided by nature, which are known as natural resources. How is the water provided? By monsoon. Okay. Now, when this water finishes, then what we are going to do? There is what 70% of water is there, but as of now, it is expensive, which are known as natural resources: water, air, soil, mineral, coal, forest, wildlife are all examples of natural resources. Natural resource can be defined as a form of energy and or matter is essential for the functioning of organism, which is dependent are provided by various spheres: the atmosphere, lithosphere, the what do you call it as
Recording in progress.
natural resources in the hydrosphere, that is in the water, clean water for drinking, water for washing and cooking, water usage in agriculture and industries, food resources from the sea, what do you call it? Sea water generated in hydroelectric projects and lithosphere. Soil is basic agriculture. With soil crops one grow, but those soils which do not grow are used for gravel, sand, plant growth, microscopic flora and fauna, soil for plants and animal waste provide nutrients. That is the
Recording in
matter
progress.
used as a source of energy. Wood and wood product material for furniture also. So these natural resources, they are also classified further into renewable and non-renewable resources. Now, what are renewable resources? These resources that can be replenished through rapid natural cycles are known as renewable resources. They can be replenished. Water can be replenished. Air can be replenished. Is it possible? Yes. These resources are able to increase their abundance through reproduction and utilization of simple substance. Reproduction in animals, reproduction in plants and trees. Examples of renewable resources are plants, crops, and forest. They reproduce. Animals reproduce. They replace generation to generation from time to time because they have the power of reproducing and maintaining the life cycle or balance of ecosystem. Some examples of renewable resources, though they do not have life cycle, they are not living beings, but they still can be renewed by recycling. Can waste wood sawdust be recycled into furniture? Can pulp of the tree be utilized to make paper? Okay. So this waste cardboard is used to make brown paper. This brown paper is called craft paper, which can be used to make brown paper bags. When plastic was banned, plastic bags were banned. Then these paper bags came into existence. You will see in America, people do shopping in large paper bags, brown colored paper bags. Your Amazon cartons, Amazon जो delivery करता है, उसके cartons, they are all recycled from the pulp. Some of them smell very awful because the chemicals used in recycling are the one which stink. So wood products, pulp products, natural rubber fibers, they are all recycled. Rubber tree, use of rubber. We make tires out of it. Tires are used on vehicles. Vehicles use them after the threads are gone, they are recycled. But after recycling, they may not reach to the original product. Fibers, cotton, jute, animal wool, silk, and synthetic fibers and leather. In addition to these resources, water and soil are also classified as renewable resources. Solar energy, although having a finite life, but the abundance of solar radiations on the planet Earth, which can be harnessed and utilized for energy purpose, is considered infinite. So it is again a renewable resource is in as much as solar stocks are inexhaustible on the human scale. We all human mankind cannot consume and finish it. Non-renewable resources. The resources which cannot be replenished through natural processes are known as non-renewable resources. These are available in limited amounts which cannot be increased. These resources include fossil fuels, crude oil, coal, etc. Metal, iron, copper, aluminum, silver, lead, zinc, etc. Minerals and salts like carbonates, phosphates, and nitrates. Once used, they are consumed. Once a non-renewable resource is consumed, it is gone forever. Then we have to substitute for it or do without it. Non-renewable resource can further be divided into two categories: recyclable and non-recyclable. These are non-renewable resources which can be collected after they are used. I told you example of rubber, used and can be recycled. After recycling, they may not take the form of their original resource. They may not become tire again. They can be used for some other purpose. These are mainly the like plastic bottles. They are crushed, flattened, used to make roads along with mixing it with tar. But how much are you going to use? Mainly the non-energy mineral resources which occur in the Earth's crust, example, ores of aluminum, copper, mercury, and deposits of fertilizer nutrients, example, phosphates, potassium minerals used in their natural state, asbestos, clay, mica, etc. These are recyclable. Non-recyclable. These are non-renewable resources which cannot be recycled in any way. Example of these are fossil fuels and uranium, which provide 90% of our energy requirement. So uranium is used for atomic plants which generate electricity. Some authors prefer to classify resources into biotic and abiotic resources. Now, what are biotic resources? These are living resources. Example, forest, agriculture, fish, wildlife that are able to reproduce on their own. They are able to replace themselves and to increase their numbers. Biotic resources, these are non-living resources, example, petrol, land, mineral, etc., that are not able to replace themselves or do not have the power of reproduction. Even if they have, the reproduction is so slow, at a slow rate, that they are not useful to consider them in terms of human lifetimes. Natural resources can also be classified as exhaustible. The resources which are not exhausted by man's activities and are abundantly available. That means we have not actually, we have just started exploring it. Forever are said to be inexhaustible. Examples are solar energy. It is finite, but the amount which we can use, capture and use it, is at a human scale, it is considered to be infinite. Atomic energy, wind energy. See, atomic energy, yes, again is finite. If the uranium or the radioactive materials finish, atomic energy will not be there. Wind energy, power from tides, etc. Most of the renewable resources are classified as inexhaustible. But if not maintained properly, they become extinct. That is the problem. For example, groundwater is renewable. It gets renewed when it rains. But what as humans we have done? We have paved the roads. We have put tar on the roads. We have put tiles in our backyards. So there is no percolation which is taking place to replace it. Even if it rains, we are not able to conserve or preserve the rainwater because it cannot percolate in the ground level again. We have stopped that for our own vested interest. Natural resources can also be classified as exhaustible. This we will do next time. I think we will stop here. Any questions? So what we'll do is we'll do your attendance. Attendance. Okay, let me check your attendance. Okay. Now let me go and share the screen. Okay. Mr. Om Priyam. Om Priyam. Okay, very good. Parth Chaturvedi.
Present, sir.
Aryan Hitendra. 43 Aryan Hitendra. Paras Raj Singh. Patil Nilesh Prakash.
Yes, sir.
Piyush Kumar.
Present, sir.
Piyush Singh.
Present, sir.
Pritam Kumar Das. Pritam Kumar Das. He's not joined the session yet. Qureshi Abdullah Ahad.
Present, sir.
Raju Kumar. Ranbir Singh.
Present.
Ritul Singh.
Sir, I am present, sir, and Beer.
Sorry. Ritul Singh. Ritul Singh 052.